Can I just check that you can see the screen and you can see the presentation?
Yes,
Yeah,
Adlina. I can see your screen. So we are
Perfect.
live now.
Okay.
So hello everyone, welcome to SIUK India webinar. Thank you for joining us today. We are now live with On Campus. Today we have Adlina and Laura with us, who will let us know more about this special webinar session. Over to you, Adlina.
Hello, good morning from very sunny London this morning. My name's Adelina and I'm the Centre Director for On Campus London. And I will give you some information on Campus London today, along with my colleague Laura McDowell, who is our Head of Progression. And so we will start really by asking, why do students come to On Campus London? And really, there are two main reasons. The first is that they want to come and study in the world's #1 university city, London. It has remained the #1 world university city for the previous 5 years, and for very good reasons. So students want to come and experience what it's like to be a student, not only in the UK, but in London. And they also come to On Campus London because they have the ambition to progress to a top UK university. And we will guide you through which universities we progress to, not only in London, but in the UK, and how we support you with this. Just to note, at On Campus London, you can see here some very famous universities that we are partnered with. So we have main partners, University of London colleges, and they are Birkbeck, where all of our students are taught, Queen Mary, Goldsmiths, Royal Holloway, the Courtauld Institute of Art, and the Royal Veterinary College. So they are our main partnerships, and we have lots of advantages of being part of this University of London partnership. We are also a recognised teaching centre for the University of London, and we offer a very unique course, the International Foundation Programme, at our On Campus London. And this allows prestigious progression to places such as London School of Economics. And I will talk about that in more detail as we go through. So there we go, perfect. So where are we in London? From this map, you can see we are in Zone 1, central London, in an area called Bloomsbury. And in Bloomsbury, you have several University of London colleges. So when students come to On Campus London, they are surrounded by the likes of UCL, LSE, SOAS, as well as being taught at Birkbeck. We are on the doorstep of the University of London Union, where our students can participate, like University of London students, in all the activities that the union has to offer. We are only a stone's throw away from the very famous Tottenham Court Road, very near Oxford Street and Oxford Circus, very near King's Cross. And students benefit from coming to us in Bloomsbury and having all of the cultural side that's on offer. For example, we are next to the British Library. We're a short walk away from the British Museum. So really, you're in the academic heart of London, which is where students want to come to have their academic experience. We also have accommodation available for our on-campus London students. Top accommodation, top quality accommodation, which is very near to on-campus London. We have several different accommodation offers depending on what students would like. And we also cater for under 18s so that they have secure accommodation with us. You can find information about our accommodation on our website or by talking to your local on-campus representatives, as well as our on-campus sales representatives in country. So what does On Campus give you? Well, we give you outstanding teaching. On Campus London has been teaching for the last 10 years, so we have supported thousands of students to progress to a top UK university. All of our staff are well qualified, and we know how to support our students, not just with the academic content, but with the academic skills that are needed for UK universities. And we provide success. We have excellent pass rates on all of our programs, and our students do very, very well. We also provide expert guidance to progress to your chosen university. So we have a higher education team, and Laura is the head of progression. We support students from the moment they arrive to understanding their academic background, to understanding what universities they want to progress to. We support them with their UCAS application. We are the experts with the UCAS application. So we help them with this. We help students choose good firm choices, good insurance choices, and provide guidance on the 5 choices that students can put in their UCAS form. We support students with personal statements and making sure that actually the personal statement is relevant. We know what makes a successful personal statement. And students will have higher education lessons with us every week to support the process. And also, finally, last but not least, we provide excellent English support. The English that we have on offer is our on-campus test of English. The UOL partners that I mentioned at the beginning, Birkbeck, Royal Holloway, Queen Mary, accept our on-campus test of English, which is excellent. So we teach the on-campus test of English. We also teach IELTS for students who need to progress to other or want to progress to other UK universities. It's really, really important that students and agents and everyone understands that we provide the academic support, we provide the higher education support, and we provide the English support. And we always tell students from the beginning, they are as important as each other. Academic is not more important than the HE services, and it's not more important than the English. The students need to be successful in all 3 elements to make up that progression to their chosen university. On Campus has a proven track record. All of our on campuses have a proven track record in success, whether it's a one-to-one or, like us, a one-to-many. And our students are made to feel as if they are a university student from day one. So I mentioned all of our lessons are taught in Birkbeck College. So our students have this very prestigious research, University of London College, in which they are in which they can access the library, for example, the labs if they're an engineering or life sciences student. So they have that access. They have their university card, which is really important for students to feel that they belong from day one. Our courses, I will be brief. I won't go into lots of detail. You can find all the detail on our courses on our website, in our brochure, and by talking to our on-campus colleagues. But we offer undergraduate foundation program, and we offer this in the 4 main pathways. Students will always follow and study 3 academic modules in accordance with their pathway, related to their pathway, and students will always study English. We offer an international year 1 program for business where students can come to us and they can study the equivalent of a first year degree in business. And if successful, and if they pass the 6 academic modules that they will need to study, they can progress to year 2 to a range of London universities. And we will advise on which university students can progress to enter year 2 of the business degree. And we have our very popular Master's Foundation in Business, Life Sciences, Engineering, Social Sciences and Humanities. And this allows students to come to us for 3 terms mainly. Top ranking always look at 3 terms Masters, or 2 terms for some cases, to study, again, core academic subjects related to business, life sciences, engineering, or humanities, and to study English. And most importantly, with the Master's Foundation, is to study research project and the skills that students will need for their dissertations when they progress on to their master's course at top ranking. I mentioned at the beginning that we are a teaching centre on campus London only. So this is unique to On Campus London. We are a teaching centre for the University of London. And we are able to teach a very unique special course, which is the International Foundation Programme. The content of this course is developed by London School of Economics, and it is our specialised teachers that teach this course. There is a virtual learning environment, which is the University of London virtual learning environment. So students have the chance to access this course, and they will either choose a humanities pathway, a social sciences pathway, or a business pathway. And they will study 4 academic modules as well as English. It is a very, very competitive course. The entry requirements are very high to come on to this foundation. So we are looking at students being A-grade students in every single subject, as well as having something special about them. So for example, if students have represented their country at a sport, or maybe they've been represented their school in a subject, a sport, debating. So there has to be something extra that comes through for this caliber of student. The students that come onto this course are looking to progress to London School of Economics, as well as top ranking, King's College London, Queen Mary, or the Russell Group. The Russell Group have approved this program, so they know the type of student that they are expecting to come through this program. We have an entry test in maths. Maths is a core module for humanities, social sciences, and business. So students have to pass a very high level of pure maths or maths and statistics to be able to progress. So we have an entry test. We have an entry test in English, and also the students get to have an interview with myself, so I can see where they hope to progress, what their ambitions are, to see if they're suited. And if they're not suitable for this course, then of course we have our excellent undergraduate foundation program, which also progresses to top ranking. So if you are interested in this course, please ask the sales reps for details, and they can give you details on the very specific entry requirements. We do have students who progress to London School of Economics, for example. They are invited to sit the entry exam by London School of Economics. So there are lots of tests, as you would expect, but we do have success stories with this program. So some highlights for you on Campus London. We're very busy at the moment with our 2020-21 students who've achieved excellent results. Of course, you will know it was A-levels results day yesterday, and now we are looking at our students' results, and Laura is very busy supporting students to see which choices become firm choices through the universities. So to give you an idea of what we do, where we progress. So last academic year, we progressed to 30 top UK universities, which is amazing. 7 of those were University of London colleges. I've mentioned 6 of our partners. I should also mention the very prestigious SOAS, which is now a partner with On Campus London, and also City, which accept our students as well, which is fantastic news. Very popular choices for your students. So we progress to all of these UOL partners. I've mentioned, of course, students come to London because it's the world's best university city. It is no experience like any other. And of course, it's about choice. Our students come to us because they can choose 5 universities. They don't have to choose one and stay with that one. I am going to finish before I hand over to Laura to talk to you about our On Campus London partnerships. I mentioned these special relationships that we have, and they are very well known in their own right for particular subjects and for being well ranked, top ranked in particular subjects or overall worldwide. Birkbeck does very, very well for business and for law. And of course, students enjoy Birkbeck and all it has to offer, and they get to know Birkbeck while they're with us. It offers evening teaching, which is very popular, especially for postgrad students who may want to work during the day and have their evenings to study. So its unique selling points are really around evening teaching and around business and law, the social sciences. We have Goldsmiths, as you know, very well known and very popular for our humanities students, 7th in the world for media and comms. So we have a lot of students who come to us for media related, creative industries, knowing that they're going to a world recognized UOL college, which has graduates of the like of Apple, Google, Tate, BBC, British Council, and our National Health Service, all well recognised. Royal Holloway, a very popular choice. It's situated in southwest London in a beautiful, beautiful green area of London. So this is good for students who don't want to stay in the hustle and bustle after their foundation of Zone 1 and maybe want a greener campus. And it also does very well with business students. It's a top 25 university, and student satisfaction rates very well for the support that students have while they're on their undergraduate and postgraduate courses. Queen Mary, of course, needs no mention. It's part of the Russell Group. It ranks 13th in the UK. Law is within the top 5. I should say on that point that if you have students who are interested in progressing to law, that is only through our International Foundation program. We can give you details on that. But you cannot study law on the undergraduate foundation. It has to be through the International Foundation program for law. It is highly competitive. We do progress students for law. We progress students for business, engineering, all subjects really. And of course, it has world-class facilities, and it's situated in the heart of London, in the East End of London. And then we have 2 very specialised partnerships for students looking for art degrees and progression to art. The Courtauld is a worldwide ranking institution. And obviously then for students who are interested in biomedical progression, we can support with progression to Royal Veterinary College, which is the number 1 prestigious school in the UK for veterinary science. What these partnerships give us is the ability for our students, your students, to have the chance to progress to top ranking. Without a foundation on campus London, their chances are lower and lower. But because these institutions recognise on campus London and our UFP, our IY1, our MFP, our IFP programs, they will welcome the applications. The international officers at these institutions talk to our students all year. So during COVID, it's been through webinars, through Teams chat, and Laura has supported students with this. So that has been fantastic to see. So students have the opportunity to ask the universities directly with questions relating to the degrees. In normal times, when we have face-to-face students, they would go and visit these universities. So there's lots of advantages to this special relationship. Now, I will stop there and I'll pass over to Laura to introduce herself and talk more about our higher education services and progression. Over to you, Laura.
Thanks, Adelina. Hi, everyone. It's lovely to meet you. As Adelina said, I am the head of progression here on campus. So I work really closely with all of our University of London partners, as well as with a lot of university admissions teams across the UK. If I could just have the next slide, Adelina, I think it's got, there we go. So we've just got some examples here of some recent progression. So these are students from our last intake who progressed to some really top universities in the UK. So we've got King's College, Sheffield, which is north of London, but still really high ranking Russell Group University. And then we've got Royal Holloway, City and Kingston. And as you can see, we've got a really wide range of courses there. And it just kind of gives you an example of where some of our pathways might lead you to. So we've got nutrition, computer science, always super popular from the engineering pathway, as well as great business courses and biomedical science. Got the next one. And as well as our partners, I think it's just always a good idea to give you an idea of kind of some success rates. So these are some universities that we have progressed to. Kind of every year we tend to have students go to these. They are in the top universities in the Guardian University Guide. If you're interested in rankings, it's a really good reference point. The likes of Durham is super popular. University of Glasgow and Edinburgh are up in Scotland, so a little bit colder, but great kind of choices as well if you're willing to go up north. And Bristol, which is only kind of an hour and a half, 2 hours from London. And the University of Manchester as well, their Alliance Business School is super popular and really well respected. Next one. And I'll just touch on this kind of lightly. Adelina kind of mentioned it pretty well at the beginning, but just to give you an idea of the support that we offer our students. So we look at every student as an individual from the moment they join us. They will have an academic meeting with myself or another member of the HE team where we identify their own personal strengths and interests and have a think about what course will suit them the best. And then we support them with what are called HE sessions, where we go through kind of the application process, how to write a winning personal statement, and making sure they're choosing the right 5 for them in their UCAS form. So as Adelina said, we are a one-to-many centre, which kind of puts students at an advantage because they can add 5 choices in the UK on their university application. We always recommend and ask that students include 2 of our partners, but we're more than happy for them to pick another 3 that suit them and suit the course that they are kind of seeking out. As I said, we will support them with that research from very early on, from the moment they join us. And when possible, we will do open days in person. In the last year, we've had some really successful kind of webinars and online events, but hopefully next year we can get back to going to visit in person. And then students at the end of their first term are aiming to submit their application, after which if they do have to have an interview or provide a portfolio, we will obviously support them with that, and we will provide the references from their tutors with their predicted grades, so they have an idea of what grades they're working towards in their offers. And then in their final term, they will review their offers, they will decide on their firm and their insurance, which is their first and their second choice, and they will confirm this with the universities and hopefully then meet these offers in their grades and progress to their chosen degree. Thank you. Next one. Yeah, and then this just kind of gives an overview of the route. So students obviously are on different pathways, so they will be aiming for different kind of choices and different subject areas, but this is an idea of kind of what they'll be all doing together. So all students will be aiming to improve their English language levels. They will be focusing on 3 academic modules, and these will be the modules that the universities will ask them to meet certain grades in, so generally 3 grades. And if it's a master's degree, then they will also be looking at a research project and looking at their kind of personal and professional development. And we will of course provide expert university application support as well as English classes. And then after this, they will confirm their offers and results and progress to the university the following September. And I think that's us. Adelina, do you have anything you'd like to go back and add to, or are we happy to open for questions?
I think that's it, really. It would be good to open to questions. And thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Adelina and Laura, for sharing your knowledge to the students. Now we are moving towards the Q&A session. The first question, the student is asking about the accommodation facilities. Are the facilities available by the university, or do they have to like enroll themselves outside?
Is that about the on-campus accommodation or university accommodation?
Both, actually. They're asking about the accommodation related to university or on campus.
Okay, so can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay,
Yes,
perfect. So just to answer, I think let's separate this out. So for on-campus accommodation, all information on our accommodation can be found. The easiest place is the website. Go on to OnCampus London and you have all the choices of accommodation there that we can support with. and we have on-campus managed accommodation. So we have a team at on-campus who will support through the application process. So that's really straightforward, and there are lots of different options as well available. So I've given an example, but we do have more options. So the best advice there is that when you apply and you go through the application process, you say, I would like accommodation also. And then we have a team who are happy to support. That's for on campus. For university is completely separate to on campus, and universities have their own managed accommodation sometimes and sometimes not. So I can't really advise on that. But as part of the research, when you're looking at universities, on university websites, they will give you what accommodation they have. Laura may know information actually on some of our partners, for example, Queen Mary, if you can advise there if they have managed accommodation.
So whenever students complete their UCAS form, there is a section about accommodation where you tick a box whether you would like to what's called live on campus, so have university accommodation. So that's when you live in halls, which is what we call it in the UK. So university accommodation with other students in their first year. That generally is just for first year, but there are some universities that will offer accommodation the whole way through. You can, of course, seek out private accommodation with friends or by yourself if you prefer. The likes of Queen Mary has central London accommodations. I believe it is in an area called Mile End, so really close to the campus. And in fact, all of our partners have accommodation kind of across London. Some are closer to the campus than others. If you go to Royal Holloway, which is more out in the countryside, it is a campus university, and they have some really lovely accommodation right on campus where you can walk to lectures, first thing in the morning from your apartment or from your halls. So yeah, there's definitely lots of options.
Thank you, Laura and Adelina. The next question, what is the fee structure? Can I pay in installments?
Okay, so again, I would definitely advise looking at the website where you have the fees breakdown and you have the fees per term. So you have the fee for the deposit, registration, and then it's broken down into each term. So it will give you the fee breakdown per term. You have the option to pay for the entire year, and then you also have the breakdowns for the terms and what's expected each term as well.
Thank you, Adelina. The next question. For Indian students, if there is good score in IELTS, any scholarship would be available?
So I would always hand over to Pranesh to talk to scholarships, because we don't deal with scholarships within on campus. So Pranesh will be your person to talk to regarding any possible scholarships for students in country before they come to on campus London.
Yes, please. And I would just like to contribute a little bit over here. So in terms of bursaries, what we do is we offer bursaries in a range of £2,500 up to £3,000 for on-campus London students who are joining a 3 terms program. So this is what we are offering in the present intake as well. That is the September 21 intake.
Thank you, Pranesh. The next question. Do you provide internships or part-time jobs during the course?
Okay, let me just take this question now. Initially, what students are doing with us are foundation programs, international year ones, and pre-masters. When students are doing these preparation programs and they're planning to get into top-end universities in the UK, at that point of time, they can't do internships. But yes, students, because they are on study visas, they can work in the UK for 10 hours in a week. And obviously, students will have their own internship opportunities, or should I say, placement years when they progress to our partner universities. So that opportunity is when students enter into the main degrees, but when they are studying with us a foundation, or international year one, or a pre-masters, they can work, and they can work 10 hours in a week. This is what's allowed.
Thank you, Pranesh. The next question. After completing MSc Public Health course, will the student get job easily?
I won't be able to comment on this, but I think if Adelina could let us know how good public health could be in terms of career prospects in the UK, please?
Okay, there are more openings now, of course, with the student graduate visa, which has come back, which is excellent. What I would say with public health is that we have the National Health Service, and conditions change. So sometimes there are conditions that are set within a quota of people being able to work within the NHS. So it's not a straightforward answer, I'm afraid. It's very much linked to the job that the applicant would be trying to gain. And there are limits set by the government. When you're looking at courses such as nursing, for example, on Campus London, we don't have a medics course, we don't have nursing. UK North does. So if you do have students who are interested in that, then Pranish can direct you to the contact and to UK North. So it's about looking at what foundations are available to what the student would want to progress to within public health.
Yes, please. Thanks for that answer. And one thing that was highlighted over here is that, yes, obviously, students would have a better opportunity to get jobs in the UK after the graduate route has been launched. And specifically, when you complete your bachelor's or master's, you have a facility where you can stay back in the UK for 2 years and you can work in the UK as well.
Thank you for answering this question. The next question, do you have any university partners? I am considering progression to University of Birmingham or University of Coventry.
What was the first part? I've heard Birmingham and Coventry, but sorry, I didn't hear the first part of the question.
Okay. Do you have any university partners with progression to University of Birmingham and University of Coventry?
Okay, so we're a one-to-many. So on Campus London progressed to 100 universities in the UK last year. So we support you with where you want to progress. So we have special partnerships with some universities, which means we know them very well. And we know the international offices very well. But we support with progression where we can to all universities. To answer your question, Coventry, yes, we have a special relationship with Coventry. We know Coventry very well. Birmingham, Laura, I'm sure, do we progress to Birmingham? I'm sure it's a popular choice.
We do. We've got about 10 students this year who have offers from Birmingham and who have made it their firm insurance choice. I believe we received more offers than that, but those are the 10 who've chosen to choose Birmingham as where they wish to go to. So their results are being sent out this week, and hopefully they will become their unconditional offer. But yeah, no, we definitely have had offers from Birmingham in the past. And as Adelina said, we have a close relationship with Coventry as well.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, we can support you with progression to all places in the UK if they accept the foundation, which a majority do. But like I said, 100 universities or more last year. That's a lot.
Thank you. The next question, do you offer short-term residential courses?
Short residential courses? No. I think that's the question. Is that right, Pranesh?
Yes, exactly. So we don't offer those programs. What we offer are foundations, which are usually 9 months, international year ones, which are 9 months, and pre-masters could range between 1 term, 2 terms, and 3 terms. But to be specific with On Campus London, the minimum that we run are 2 terms pre-masters, which are 6 months program leading to masters in the UK.
Thank you. The next question, I have 1 year gap after my UG. Can I still apply?
Yes, please. That's a very good question. Now, we have a strict study gap policy, and that clearly means that students who have gap up to 3 years, and to answer this question more precise, anyone who has passed out schools, HSCs, or colleges in the year 2018 and thereafter can apply for the September 21 intake. So we do take students with a max of 3 years gap, please. So yes, the student is completely eligible to apply.
Thank you, Pranish. The next question, can you name a few colleges that allow interdisciplinary in English PhD?
Oh, what a tough question.
PhD or master's? PhD.
Yes, PhD.
So PhD would then be after you kind of have left us. So it would be kind of looking at what you're hoping to seek out after that master's level, before you would really even reach the point of considering the PhD. I'm trying to think of examples. Interdisciplinary in terms of, do we have an example of what the interdisciplinary would be with? English and... No?
Okay, so let's wait for the answer from the student. So we are taking the next question. The student want to ask, please guide for MBBS admission in UK.
So I'll take that question. Now, if students are planning to apply for MBBS, what we offer is a 9 months foundation program that we run at on campus UK North within the premises of UCLan. So a student would join a 9 months of medics foundation with us. And that leads the student to a number of universities like UCLan, the University of Central Lancashire, then Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland. Then there is the University of Nicosia, Aston University, St. George's University, Granada. So we prepare students for the medicine foundation for 9 months. And yes, on meeting the progression requirements, they can then enter into the universities that I just named a few seconds back. Yes, the medicine foundation is a jewel in the crown with us, because I could hardly remember any other pathway provider that provides medics foundation in the UK except for on campus. So yes, you're welcome to make an application if you plan to do a medicine foundation leading to MBBS in the UK. And one important thing, one of the highlights that we have is that we don't need UCATs except for students planning to progress to Aston University. With other universities, we don't need UCATs.
Thank you, Pranish. Related to that interdisciplinary in English PhD question, the student is saying English and education management. I think that's what you were asking, Laura.
Okay, so I would need to probably research that. We have a program in the UK called a PGCE. So if it is seeking out a career in teaching, then you can pursue a master's in education. The likes of Brunel University in London offer interdisciplinary courses. They generally tend to be in kind of English, sociology, history. We've had MFP students kind of aiming for that in the past, but education specifically, we would need to maybe research a little bit. The likes of Loughborough is another university in the north of England that does interdisciplinary PhDs, as well as King's College, obviously in London. But yeah, in terms of education, it would need to be looking at the kind of specific area. So whether it's pursuing education from an academic perspective, or whether it's because the student is trying to pursue a career in education as an educator.
Thank you, Laura. The next question. The student want to know about hotel management studies.
At undergraduate level, yeah?
Yeah, I think UG.
Yeah, definitely. So hotel management, there's quite a lot of different options. We have, I think, Birkbeck and Westminster in the past have offered great courses for this. Westminster is really popular. In terms of not quite hotel management, culinary management, Birkbeck have a really popular course that we have a lot of applicants for every year. But yeah, it's definitely something that students can progress to from our undergraduate program. Tends to be business students, but a lot of the programs are quite open in terms of background. But yeah, we would recommend pursuing the business pathway if that was the aim.
Thank you, Laura. The next question. After completing MSc Public Health course, can I work from NHS Trust?
As I mentioned before, it varies. It's a very difficult question to answer. Every year, the government guidelines change with regard to the National Health Trust. So we can't give you an answer on that. I would say if you are interested in pursuing that, then it will be a good idea to kind of follow the guidelines with NHS Working for international people to see when it's updated and to see what the latest guidance is each year.
Thank you, Adelina. The next question. Is it possible to study one master's subject full-time and another master's subject part-time?
I don't believe so.
No.
No, I'm afraid not.
Okay,
I
thank you so
smile
much.
because it would be very, very hard. You know, if you're studying a master's full-time, that is full-time. And of course, you want to do well in that one master's. You can, of course, study several masters, but not at the same time.
Thank you. The next question. Will you accept 12th marks, 75 above for MSc midwifery course?
MSc midwifery course. So obviously that course would be done after the bachelor's, and if I ask this question again, has it been asked to us that does it need 75%? Is that what the...
Yeah, it is above 75%. If the student scored in 12th above 75%.
Now, the important point is that we do not have progressions to this particular program at MSc. So it would be better for me not to comment on this, that which universities would have MSc midwifery and what percentages would they need. Percentages vary from universities to university. So that's a tough question to answer. I can't answer that question. Which university would need what percentages? And as I said, that we don't have progressions to the MSc midwifery. If I'm correct, Adelina, we don't have this program. So it's better not to comment on this question. But yes, there are certain universities that offer this program, and it's better to check on their websites how much, what percentage, and how much is it going to cost to study this program, please.
Thank you. The next question. I was actually looking for a short-term course in business or management or public relations for 6 months or less than 6 months.
We don't offer such programs. As I said earlier, even a foundation would mean at least 9 months study with us. Internationally ever means at least a 9 months study with us. So we don't offer such kind of short-term programs.
Thank you, Adelina, Laura, and Pranish for answering all the questions. I have covered. Oh, we have one more question. The student wants to say thanks for answering. I am a final year MA English student in India. Should I do a separate course in UK in order to do an interdisciplinary research?
So to pursue another master's, or is this the same PhD question?
Yeah,
is it to them?
Yeah, it is the PhD student only.
It will depend on the university that the student is seeking out, and it will depend on the level of the master's they're doing, because there are certain requirements that you need to meet at your master's level to then pursue a PhD in the UK. It will vary from university to university. I'd recommend primarily checking the university websites, will show that kind of information.
Thank you so much. I think I've covered all the questions from the chat box.
Deepika, I just have, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just have some important messages to share with the students, please, who are listening to us. And these are some important points. So if students are only from India, you know, the good news is that we are away from the red list now. So quarantine, the policy of, you know, quarantine at the government approved hotel has been removed. But if there are listeners from South Asia, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Sri Lanka, by any chance, then the good news is that we are supporting our students on quarantine cost. So if you join us, we would be supporting you on a quarantine cost of £1,000 which means that after your quarantine gets over, you submit the receipt to us and we deduct £1,000 of the course from the last term of your study. So that's point number one. Point number two is we have both systems of study. So one is face-to-face, and students can do the entire program face-to-face in the UK. But for certain students from certain regions, if they can't rather join the first term face-to-face, they can still start online. They can still start online and then do the second terms face-to-face with us. So there is a flexibility in the mode of delivery. You can either join the entire program face-to-face or do the first terms online and then get into the face-to-face mode in the second terms. Another important thing, if you plan to study at On-Campus London and you have that dream to get progress to the bigger universities in the UK, you should be ready both academically and specifically English. Now, what we accept are CELT exams. So if students who are listening to me, there's a difference between IELTS UKVI and the standard IELTS that you appear for. We need our students to appear for IELTS UKVI or the PT Academic UKVIs, please. And that's important for visa purposes. So please ensure that if you're applying to On-Campus London, you should be ready with your English evidence. And if by any chance you say, or you think right now, how can I do an IELTS UKVI or PT Academic UKVI considering the COVID situations, centers running full, then please note, you can first start online studies with us. And for that, we will do an internal English with you. If you pass that internal English, you first start studying online. And then once you submit the requisite English evidence, you could then be cast and given a visa and fly out to the UK for face-to-face studies. So these are some important messages that you must know overall. And the last date of application for On-Campus London is the 20th of August. So please be quick if you wish to study at this excellent hub and spoke center where your dreams can come true of studying at one place and then transferring to a number of universities in the UK. This is what I just wanted to share with the audiences, please.
Thank you so much, Pranish. So we have one last question from a student. He is asking if he has 15 years of experience, will he be eligible for a foundation course in UK?
No, because we have a strict study gap policy, and it won't be easy for us to take a student with a 15 years of gap because visas could be a challenge for such students. So if I go in line by what study gap policy we are following, I'm sorry to share this disappointing answer, but we won't be able to take a student with 15 years of gap. I understand, I respect that the student has been working these 15 years, complete respect to you, but we won't be able to hire you for foundations, please.
Thank you so much, Pranish. So we are done with the Q&A session. Anything else you want to put forward for the students to know, who all are watching us right now, live?
Yes, I've shared most of the important information, the mode of deliveries. One thing to all students who are hearing me is that if you plan to study in the UK, you really need to be proactive in terms of your application process, in terms of your financial evidences, in terms of how soon can you file the visas and reach the UK on time. So that's another important message, that you really need to be proactive in terms of making to the UK for your studies. That's it from my end. If Adelina or Laura has to add anything to this, please, most welcome.
No, thank you, Pranish. I would just like to say we very much look forward to welcoming students back to face-to-face. We have had a small group of face-to-face students this academic year, but we are ready. We have everything in place to teach securely. The situation in the UK is improving day by day. 75% of all UK adults have now had 2 vaccinations, and we're open, everything's open, and we are safely teaching and opening everything around us, which is great. We are slowly returning to our new normal, and we very much look forward to being back in Birkbeck. This behind me is our new on-campus London admin building, so where students will come and say hello to us all, and it is just next door to Birkbeck College where students will study. So we will have the online option, of course, to support students with their decisions, but yes, we're very much looking forward to going back to what we do best, and that's supporting students face to face, and for you to have the experience of being an on-campus London, University of London student. So take care, everybody. Thank you for listening.
Yes, please. Thank you so much for arranging this. Take care.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your valuable time today. To all the students who are watching us right now, please feel free to contact SIUK India offices for any query anytime. We'll be happy to help you. Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye.